Welcome back to the Book Summary Podcast. This is your host, Dario Gonzalez, and after last episode's brief introduction to the world of Avatar The Last Airbender, we are ready to begin with Chapter 1 of Avatar The Last Airbender, The Promise. So, the story begins exactly where the show left off. Aang has just ended the 100-Year War by defeating Fire Lord Ozai, and Prince Zuko has become the new Fire Lord. And so, in a meeting with the Earth King Kwai, that's his name, King Kwai, they plan a restoration of harmony of the four nations. They're trying to find a way to bring things back to the way they were. So, since the Fire Nation had a bunch of colonies in the Earth Kingdom that the Earth King claimed was a constant reminder of the war for his people, Zuko volunteers to remove those colonies from his land in what he claims to be a hope to heal the damage his father had caused. So, naturally, Aang, being the Avatar, volunteers to be the person who oversees the transition and to make sure it goes peacefully. This whole thing is known as the Harmony Restoration Movement. So, Earth King really likes this and decides to make it for the announcement. He's going to make a big celebration. Everybody's invited in the Earth Kingdom. And so Aang and the crew decide to visit Uncle Iroh's tea shop, the Jasmine Dragon. And it is during this visit that Katara and Aang finally have their first kiss, which is immediately interrupted by her brother Sokka. So, this leads to an argument between the siblings about respecting their spaces or whatever, and Katara throws in Sokka's face that he does something similar with Suki. Now, Suki's a character that I have not mentioned yet, and to give her just, like a brief mention, she is the leader of a Kyoshi band of warriors from a place in the Earth Kingdom called Kyoshi Island. She was also imprisoned by the Fire Nation for a while and was rescued by Sokka, and that's why, she kind of became his love interest after a while. Anyway, so Aang, Katara, Sokka, Suki, Toph, and Fire Lord Zuko all go out on Appa, the giant flying bison, and they decide to enjoy the fireworks celebration on the Earth Kingdom from the air. And everybody's loving it. Everybody's having a good time, except really for Toph, because she's blind, and fireworks and blind people don't really mix. And Zuko, who's always been kind of a sour dude, but he clearly looks to be in a bad mood. So Aang tries to cheer him up, and that leads to a kind of a bizarre conversation. In the conversation, Zuko informs Aang that he recently visited his father's cell, and he asked Aang to make him a promise that if he ever looks like he's going to become his father, that Aang is going to kill him. Now, naturally, Aang is like, dude, you're crazy. That's crazy talk. You're my friend. I can't kill you. But Zuko is adamant, and eventually Aang agrees to the promise that he will kill him if he ever looks like he's becoming like his father. Now, you may be getting a hint as to where the story will be going. Anyway, so the story then skips one full year into the future, and we arrive at Zuko's bedroom, in the royal palace of the Fire Nation in the middle of the night. And we clearly see that he's really not doing well. He wakes up in the middle of the night in a panic. He looks flustered. He's paranoid. He thinks somebody's trying to kill him, so he runs over to his guards at his door, claiming that somebody's there to kill him. From the conversation with the guards, we gather that this is clearly not the first time that it's happened, that it happens pretty much every night, and they're trying to calm him down. However, this night appears to be different. From the darkness, somebody attacks the guards with a long, kind of like chain-like weapon, similar to a morning star. And for those of you who don't know, a morning star is basically a spiked metal ball attached to a chain. Anyway, then the masked assailant, who at first glance appears to be female, leaps from the shadow screaming, "Down with the traitor!" So Zuko defends himself and starts the fighting against the masked assailant. And the match is kind of close, but Zuko knows how to fight, and his firebending proves to be way too much for the assailant. So eventually he defeats her and unmasks her, revealing a not totally unattractive young woman. So he questions her, and she questions her, and in her anger, she ends up spilling out like the whole can of beans. She claims to be the daughter of the mayor of Yudao, which is the first colony the Fire Nation ever settled in the Earth Kingdom, and that her family has been loyal to his for generations, but now, because of the Harmony Restoration Movement, her people are about to lose their home. So she wanted to kill him for his betrayal of them. This leads Zuko to visit Yudao and confront the mayor, whose name is Mayor Morishita. Now, when he meets the mayor, he also returns his daughter and informs her of what she's done. By the way, here we learn that her name is Corey. So, when the mayor learns what his daughter has done, he drops to his knees, begs for forgiveness and mercy from Zuko, who at that point is kind of considering whether or not burning down the whole place down. This leads to an argument with Corey about her saying, just burn it down, whatever. Your Harmony Restoration Movement is going to destroy it anyway, so what's the point? This leads to an argument, and it leads to a debate between the mayor and Zuko, where the mayor's claiming that his family built that city, so they have a right to live there, and Zuko claiming that they're Fire Nation citizens, so they belong in the Fire Nation. So the mayor counters that by saying that his father, Fire Lord Ozai, would never let the Avatar or the Earth King bully him into doing something that was clearly bad for his citizens, the citizens of his nation, and that leads to a flashback of the time Zuko visited his father in prison before asking Aang, the promise to kill him or whatever. So, besides trading insults, the reason why Zuko visited his father was because he wanted to ask one very specific thing, and I quote, the question was, "Where is my mother?" Which is one of the biggest mysteries of the show, who is and what happened to Zuko's mother. Anyway, Ozai is clearly not going to answer him, so Zuko storms off, and as he's leaving, he gives him both a warning and kind of a nasty invitation. So he warns Zuko about the pressures that come with being a Fire Lord, but invites him to come and visit him whenever he likes, because he's the only person in the world who can understand the pressures of that role, so he's sure that he will come crawling back eventually. So, like I said, kind of a nasty thing to do. But it helps us understand Zuko's state of mind when he asked Aang to kill him if he ever goes awry. Anyway, this brings us back to the conversation between Zuko and the mayor, and after hearing what the mayor said about his father, Zuko loses it, and with a fireburst rams the mayor against the wall, pins him there, and screams at his face that, "I'm not my father!" The mayor then calmly explains to him that Fire Lord Ozai had many faults, but he was never a coward, and he was never a traitor. From there, we only see Zuko's eyes, and they are not happy. He's clearly angry. From there, we cut to Aang and Team Avatar, who at that moment are flying on Appa's back, and they're escorting a Fire Nation ship off the coast of the Fire Nation. And on Appa, Aang is having a conversation with Mayor Nishi. She's a mayor of one of the fire colonies, and Aang is trying to put her at ease about returning to the Fire Nation by claiming that they've already helped dozens of other colonies return, and telling her about how much they love it because Zuko is reintroducing classic Fire Nation culture to their country, and everything's going to be great. The mayor seems a little bit unconvinced because, according to her, the other colonies were very new, while hers had deep roots in the Earth Kingdom. But in the end, it's like, hey, you're already on the Bison, and your people are already on the boat. So, I mean, not way too late for complaining. Anyway, when they arrive at the port at the Fire Nation and start unloading everything, a Fire Nation officer approaches them and tells them to stop. They orders them to stop unloading and to return to the Earth Kingdom. Aang is confused by this, and when he confronts the officer claims that, quote, Fire Lord Zuko has officially withdrawn support of the Harmony Restoration movement. This shocks everybody, and Team Avatar decides to go investigate. From there, we cut to Beifong's Metal Bending Academy in the Earth Kingdom, which, as the name suggests, it's Toph's school for teaching Earthbenders how to metal bend. For those of you who don't remember, Toph is the blind Earthbender who taught Aang everything he knows about earthbending. Anyway, so the school happens to be just outside of Yudao, the city where Zuko just visited before changing his mind about the Harmony Restoration movement. And the students of the academy are worried because their parents live in the city and they can see a big crowd protesting outside of it. So Toph walks in and chews them out for not practicing. Then when they inform her of the issue, she claims that, hey, you know what, I'm going to go investigate. So as she walks out, she can sense/hear that Appa is flying nearby. So she uses her earthbending skills to propel herself onto his back. And when she lands, she scares the hell out of Katara and Sokka by doing so. So after recovering from that shock of, having a blind earthbender land on your flying bison, everybody embraces and they claim that it's been too long, and they compliment Toph on starting her own metal bending school. They then catch her up on the situation that Zuko's changed his mind about the Harmony Restoration movement, and that his soldiers won't let anybody in or out of Yudao. So Toph then asks where Aang is, and they tell her that he's up front meditating about what he might have to do. While meditating, we go into, Aang's mind, and Aang is having a conversation with the spirit of the previous Avatar, Avatar Roku, who was born into the Fire Nation. So from their conversation, we gather that Aang regrets having made the promise to Zuko that he would kill him if he ever turns into his father, especially because he couldn't even kill his father Ozai, who was, at least from Aang's point of view, truly evil. So if he can't kill a man who was truly evil, how could he kill his friend? How could he kill his firebending teacher, Zuko? So Avatar Roku's counsel is that, hey, a promise is a promise, and you should respect the wish of your friend, especially if he made it in a time where he was very clear of thought. He also informs Aang that he regrets not having killed the Fire Lord of his time, Fire Lord Sozin, the man who betrayed him and started the 100-Year War that led to the deaths of countless of individuals. So, with that counsel and still torn about what to do, Team Avatar approaches the gates of Yudao. And that's a good place to stop. That's where we're going to end this particular episode. Get ready tomorrow because we will continue with Chapter 2 and we will see what happens when Team Avatar reaches Yudao. So, as always, thank you for joining me and I'll see you next time.